What's up guys, and welcome to our tips. In this video I'm going to be giving you a few tips for how to improve your competitive games in Overwatch. So here we go, here are my top 5 tips. First of all, communication. This one is an absolute no-brainer. Voice comms is a must. You're playing a communication-based team game, so you absolutely have to be in the voice channel at all times. If you don't have a mic, please go and get one, I beg of you. It's so important. If you don't have one and you're still in the voice channel though, that's way better than not being in there at all. So please jump in the voice channel, listen to what your team is saying, type if you have to, but in the meantime, go and grab yourself a mic. It's super important. Once you're in the voice channel, no bullying people to switch off a Genji or a Widow at the very start of the game. Give them some time to show you why they chose that hero. They may be fantastic. You don't know this person. You don't know what their skills are like. So rather than bullying them and not so nicely suggesting that they change, give them a chance. Let them show you what they've got. If a couple of engagements go by and nothing's really happening with that hero, maybe politely suggest that they switch off to something else that's going to work a bit better with your team composition. But do it nicely. Please do it nicely. Keep it positive, keep it constructive, and you should find that things go down a lot better. That feeds into the next comment, which is keep your communication constructive. No one's going to appreciate yelling, bitching, moaning, accusing somebody else of being the reason you're losing or having a tough game. If your suggestions are making sense and they're in the spirit of helping the team win, everyone's going to respond much better. So try to keep your communication constructive. And lastly, for communication, call what you see when you see it. If you see a flanker, if you see a monkey jumping in to attack your support heroes, if you hear a Pharah rocket somewhere behind you and you think she's got ult, make sure you call it. Let your team know what's going on and everybody can work together to stop it from happening. Point number 2 is coordinate with your team. Now this is most important when it comes to using your ultimates, but it's also super important for team engagements. You won't see any pro teams going in one by one, losing the engagement, and then going back and trying the same thing again. It's not going to work. What you need to do is recognize if the engagement is lost, a few of you have died, and then everyone else who's left, pull back. Wait for your team to respawn and go in together, try again. You're going to have far more success if you're attacking together and if you're working together. So try to make sure that if someone dies, if a couple of people have gone in and failed and the team hasn't pushed together, reset, start again. You're going to have a much higher chance of winning an engagement if you go in together. So stop scratching your head wondering why it's not working when you go in by yourself. I can tell you why. It's because you're going in by yourself. Don't do it. Second thing relating to coordination is your ultimates. Now, they are so much more powerful when they're used strategically. If you've ever seen a Zarya Hanzo combo and many others go off successfully, you know what I'm talking about. 2 ultimates timed well can change the tide of a game. It can win you the engagement, it can capture you the point, whatever it is that you need, it can do it just with 2 ultimates timed well together. When you do this, you also need to make sure that your important people on the opposition team are taken care of first. Now, I'm talking about your Zenyatas, your Mercies, your Anas, things like that. Make sure that they are out of the way before you use your combo. The last thing you want is to get this beautiful combo happening, everyone's dead, and then Mercy just casually walks around the corner and reses the whole team. Or Zenyatta's in the middle of the black hole and he uses Transcendence and it's completely negated and you've wasted your time. So make sure that you keep an eye out for who's important on the other team, get rid of them first, then use your combo, and if it's done effectively, you're going to see massive improvements in your rates of taking points and having successful engagements. So keep working on it, get your combos up, and make sure that you've got it ready when you need it. Point number 3 is you can't always play your main, and that's okay. So if you're a soldier main and you're good at it and you know it and you get into the game but somebody else locks soldier, don't get salty, don't get on voice comms and shout at them to change. Let it go. Try something else. You need to be flexible in this game. You need to have multiple heroes you can play, multiple different classes that you're good at preferably, and then you're going to find the games go much better because there's going to be less bitching right off the bat from people complaining that their main has been taken. What if there's 3 people on your team who main soldier? What are you going to do then? That's 2 out of 3 people who are going to be disappointed. You need to get over that. Get over yourself. You're not the only person on your team. It's a 6-man squad. You need to be able to do other things. If you're a DPS main and you're listening to this, please, I beg of you, have a hero that you play in defense, tank, and even a support if you can. Having that flexibility is going to make a huge difference for your team compositions and also just for the quality of your team communication and getting along with your team in general. So try to be the guy that's flexible. People are going to love you and you're going to learn more things. You're going to get along better with your team and hopefully have better games as a result. Point number 4 is awareness. Now, this one can be taken in lots of different ways, but what I'm talking about mainly here is recognizing what heroes are causing problems for your team and discussing what you guys need to do to fix it. So if you've got a Genji wrecking you and everyone's running around complaining about how they're dying to this Genji, stop complaining about it. Complaining about it is not going to get the problem solved. You need to discuss what you need to do to deal with the Genji. So what do we need? Do we need a Xayah? Do we need a Mei? Okay, let's switch to those heroes and see how we go. If your coordination and your communication are doing well, then you should find that there's some improvement straight away. You should find the engagements a little bit less difficult to deal with, and you should be having a bit better time of it. And if you're still not, then look around you. What else is going on? Are people trickling in when they shouldn't be? Are they not listening to the team and grouping up? Things like that. If that stuff's going on, then you need to solve that as well. But primarily, your awareness needs to be what heroes do you need to counter the ones that you're struggling with the most at the moment. Now, building up awareness is one of those things that does come with experience, and it does take time, so don't expect this to come overnight. It is going to take you some time, but the more that you keep that in the back of your mind, the more that you look around you in game, especially in games when you're struggling and you're having a really hard time, the better you are going to become at recognizing them, and then you're going to have a much better time with solving them in the future. So start doing this now. Start looking around and seeing the things that are going wrong, seeing the things that are going right as well when they're going right, because that'll help you later on when they're not going right. So you can remember things that worked, and then you can also notice things that don't. And the last point I have for you guys is stay positive. Now, I know that this sounds like one of the most basic things in the world, but it can actually be one of the trickiest things to do. Positivity doesn't come naturally to everyone, particularly when you're in a difficult game or you're having a really bad day, your aim is off, whatever the problem is. I know from experience, I can really struggle with this one myself, but the thing to remember above all else is it is just a game. And I know that sounds simple, but it really is true. It is that simple. If you're having a bad game, maybe you just need to take a break. Maybe you need to try another hero. Maybe you need to just go into some quick play and have fun instead of playing competitively. Whatever the problem is, the last thing you want to be doing is getting angry. We've all had those games where somebody's blaming somebody else or somebody's getting angry at someone for losing, whatever the problem is. They're on tilt. They're not having a good game. They're being really negative, and it affects everyone around you. It affects the whole team when one person is being super negative. So be the person that everybody wants on their team. Be the guy who's being upbeat. Be the person who's saying, hey guys, come on, we can do this. Because you know what? It's not over until you see victory or defeat in big letters on your screen. Before that, you can still do it. You can still work on it. There's always something you can try. There's always something that you can do. Talk it through with your team. If you're not trying, if you're not staying positive, it's never going to happen. There are games when you think that it's lost, you think it's all over, and suddenly the tide starts turning, the game starts getting better, people start hitting their shots, attitudes start shifting, and suddenly there's victory on your screen and you have absolutely no idea how you got there, but you did. And those games are amazing. They feel so much better than any other game because you literally thought you had lost, but you didn't. So think about those games. Remember that it can happen. If it hasn't happened to you, I assure you that it can. So please stay positive and remember that you can overcome any of the obstacles that you're facing. It just takes all the points that I've just mentioned, but above all else, staying positive, because becoming negative is your sure way to defeat. So please try to keep positive. Try not to blame other people. Try not to yell. Try not to get angry. All of those things are just going to bring you and the rest of the team down. So staying positive is hugely important. So in closing, guys, the most basic things that you can do to improve your chances in competitive and just generally to have some better games are to communicate effectively, attempt to coordinate as a team, be willing to play something other than your main if you need to, be aware of what's having the biggest impact on your team and work together to fix it, and most of all, stay positive in the face of a difficult game or a difficult day. Whatever the problem is, stay positive. You can overcome it. I know that probably sounds really cheesy, and I'm sorry, but it is factual. It is true. I've seen it happen. I'm saying all these things from experience and from knowing that it does work. So please give it a try. See how you go. See if things improve. I guarantee you that if you try these things, you will start seeing better games. Now, we can't make everybody perfect overnight. We can't make the entire community positive and communicative and coordinated and all the rest of it. But you can start being the change that you want to see in the community. You can start advocating for these behaviors and trying to get other people on board, because when they see it working with you, hopefully they'll want to start taking those things on board as well. So they're my top 5 tips for better competitive games in Overwatch, guys. I hope you found them helpful. If you did, please leave me a comment. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.